Here we have the pumpkin that we canned, Rebel canned. It's part pumpkin and it's part butternut squash. And we're going to use this to make our Thanksgiving pumpkin pie. Here we have our pie crust. And don't come at me, it is store-bought. Remember, I'm still working at the dentist office, so it's okay to use a store-bought crust. So I put my crust in here. I'm going to poke some holes in it with a fork, and I'm going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes to get it started on its cooking process, because it's not going to have enough time to cook while the pumpkin's cooking. You know, you don't want that soggy crust at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and poke some holes in it so it doesn't get bubbles in our pie crust. And then we're going to put it in there and cook it for 15 minutes. Then we're going to add our filling. I'm going to put all my ingredients for my filling into my blender, and we're going to get that blended up. Let's get it done. 1 cup of our pumpkin puree. And in she goes. To that we're adding 1 egg. 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar. 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Next is a cup of milk plus 1/3 cup of milk. Now we're adding in 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of flour. The recipe then calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm using vanilla bean paste. I love pumpkin pie spice, so I'm going to go with 1/2 of a tablespoon, and then I'm going to taste it after I mix it up and make sure that's enough to my liking. Let's get that mixed up. All right, I tasted it and it's perfect, just the way I like it. Now we're going to dump that into our pie crust that has come out of the oven, and it's going to go back in the oven on 350 for 60 to 75 minutes until the center is set. Next up will be cherry pie using the cherry pie filling that we made earlier this year. All right, our pie filling is in the pie. Now we put on our lid. All right, the lid is on. I've poked some holes in it so that it can bubble up out. And I put a little bit of cream on the top and swirled it around to wet the whole top. And then I added some sugar. We're going to start the pie out at 425 degrees for 15 minutes. And then we're going to drop it down to 350 for about an hour. Your pie will be done when it's browned on top and the juices are bubbling out of your cuts. And your pumpkin pie is done when you insert a knife into the center here, and there is no residue from the pumpkin pie filling on your knife. It comes out clean. There's our cherry pie right out of the oven. It looks and smells delicious. And there we have our pumpkin pie that is cooling already. They'll go into the refrigerator and be ready for Thanksgiving. When I pull the turkey out, I'll sit those in just so they get a little bit warm, and they'll be delicious. I'll make some homemade vanilla ice cream to go with them. As always, thanks for tuning in and watching my content. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like, a share, and a follow. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon with more delicious food.